Hello, I have no idea how long this video is going to go. It's going to be kind of wide-ranging. Over the years, I've met with quite a few young people and middle-aged people and elderly people, and good job on getting your hair ready for this. Tonight is going to be Joe's speech, State of the Union, and I'm in a really ugly portion of this painting that I started last year. I got the concept about a year ago, January. And so I just started sketching. My central figure is the chairman or the leader of the Communist Party of the world, the largest communist organization that I know of. And I began sketching him on this blank canvas. It was the end of a canvas roll Mom bought for me. She got me, I think it was about 27 feet of canvas, as I recall, by 5 foot. And this was the last of it. So I had this big piece of canvas and I was going to chop it up and make a bunch of little paintings. And then I got this idea. Grandpa Raymond Hartman encouraged me a lot over the years to continue with my political art sketches. I did a lot of those when I was a kid. So there were so many words that I didn't feel like anybody was going to be reading my writing or my book, so I decided to go back to this idea of illustration. I struggled with the concept. It didn't immediately come together until I got more into July of last year. Then I started imagining the interaction between these characters and wanted it to be a little bit of an allegory, but I wanted it to be simple as well. So what you're seeing is Nancy Pelosi over here. I've just got her sketched in, handing the gavel. The control of the Congress basically is the point, over to Chairman G. And you have up here Kevin McCarthy, who's now the Speaker of the House of Representatives, doing his little hand signal. And I thought that was really important to explain how the Republicans and the Democrats are identical in their agreement with the communists and their partner with slave labor. And I don't have the Islamic State represented in here, but I kind of do down here with this guy, with Henry Kissinger, because he's the architect of this relationship that goes clear back to 1972, with Henry introducing President Nixon to the chairman of China at the time. I may have the year wrong, but I believe it was 1972. So the concept is, we talked about a lot when I was a kid, the adults did. When there was something going on that was unexplainable with our leaders, they would say, well, they're on the leash, or they're receiving so much cash bribery that that explains why they're breaking the law. When something that is happening in America by our leaders that doesn't make any sense, and they're breaking the law and you know it, and you don't have to have somebody explain it to you, and our Constitution, then there's something else going on. There's some reason for it. It doesn't just happen accidentally. They have to go out of their way, and they have to make enough money off of this in order to abruptly disappear from public view. But they're not disappearing from public view from embarrassment. Mike Rounds, John Thune, Kristi Noem, they, were after our land, representing China for a railroad and a gas situation, and then also there's a fossil fuel situation involving Russia, where they were representing Russia. And you young people don't need to worry about looking all this stuff up, but it's FARA, Foreign Agent Registration Act, I think is what it is. So when you are representing another country, in particular a country that is all about slave labor like China, then it's not illegal in our country to be satanic. You just gotta register as a foreign agent of that company and country, and no problem, just go right back at it, because our people allow it. So the Republican Party and the Democrats, I'm a constitutionalist, but and I wouldn't allow it, but am I going to rule over this land? Not likely. Or is it an actual constitutionalist ever going to be in control of this nation or lead this nation? Not likely. Why? Because people like Kevin McCarthy, what I do is I find photos for reference and then I work off of that. So what I could have done is shifted his eyes, and I still may do that. But like I told you before, if you find a reference photo that works for your illustration, don't feel like you have to be a slave to it. Feel free to make moves and change it around. My flip-flops are squeaky. So I did that with Joe. His eyes were looking in a different location, and I moved him around. Let's see if I can find that photo. This is hard to see because I had to doctor this image to get it to that point, so it's not the original image. But you can see sort of that he's looking down. And so once you have that basic outline in place, however you go about it, if you use charcoal, the problem with that is it smears and smudges. So you have to lock it down and spray it with a sealer or something. But if you're trying to lay this out with paint, what can happen is you might get something way off, but then you've put it in paint, so what do? It becomes a real problem, and then paint is still super expensive, especially oil paint. And I personally don't trust watercolor enough to paint over it, or acrylic, but there's a lot of artists that do that. But some artists recommended using red, and so this is my laptop camera, so I've got the screen about a foot away. So I used red magic markers to isolate and map out areas that I want to transition from one color to another. And then I started doing the block in, and I don't have that even complete. This is still the undersketch that you're seeing here from when I started last year. I have an actual art studio now, so that's pretty awesome. But during the last few months, I had some upheaval trying to get reestablished and get set up, and so I kept thinking about this painting, trying to solve it and figure out where to put these characters and how to have them interrelated. The idea is of the leash concept goes to something, I guess I don't have it on that computer, I have it on my laptop, I won't be able to show you, but it's like a child's leash. It comes down, comes over like that, and then there'll be a buckle on all these characters will have one, and then all the leashes will go to his hand. So that's the simple concept, is that regardless of what they say, we know now from the revelations, or I can't remember the Greek word or Hebrew word, but the withdrawing of the veil, the pulling back of the veil when things are revealed. Now it's been revealed that they're all receiving money. There's not an exception. They're all involved.